Alright, so today's lesson is compound inequalities, specifically the AND compound inequalities, and our learning target is that I can graph compound inequalities. Okay, so what a compound inequality is an inequality with multiple conditions. Okay, I've got two specific types. I've got AND inequalities where both conditions are met. And they must be met, so both conditions must be met. And or where one condition must be met. Okay, and today we're going to specifically focus on the AND inequalities. Okay, so looking at these, I'm going to try to determine what the compound inequality is that I'm looking at. Okay, so starting with this first one, I've got my two critical points, 1 and 7. I've got filled in circles. Filled in circles means that the answers are included, right? So my first one, my two critical points, I've got 1 and 7. Okay. This stuff here in the middle are my solutions x. Okay, so I have to kind of decide, are my solutions greater than, are my critical points greater, or is x greater than my critical points or less than my critical points? So looking at my solutions, I've got 1, well look, check towards 0. Is it towards 0 or away from 0? Okay, it's away from 0, so my solutions must be greater than 0. Okay, and check 7. Is it towards 0 or away from 0? Okay, it's actually towards 0, so my solution is going to be less than 7. Okay, now I've got my solution here in the middle. My lines are filled in, which means that those are also included, so I have to add the equal sign underneath. So it's 1 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 7. Alright, so pause the video real quick and see if you can try number the second one. Okay, my two critical points are -8 and -2. So why don't you try that one real quick? Okay, so I've got -8, -2, and my solutions are in the middle. Okay, check towards 0. Is -8 going towards 0 or away from 0? Okay, it's going towards 0, so my solutions are greater than -8. Okay, is -2 going towards 0 or away from 0? Okay, it's going away from 0, so my solutions are less than -2. Okay, but the circles aren't filled in, so I'm not going to put an equal sign here. Okay, so I've got -8 is less than x, is less than -2. That's my final answer. Okay, so actually graphing those from or on a graph. Got 3 examples here. Okay, so in my first one, I've got -2 is less than or equal to x is less than 1. Okay, so my two critical points at -2 and 1. And I always want to include 0, and 0 is between -2 and 1. Okay, and now look at the symbol on the -2. It's less than or equal to. So I know that I've got a closed circle on -2 because -2 is included. Okay, I've got a less than on 1, so for 1 I've got an open circle because we know 1 is not included. Now we check our solution. Okay, so at -2, if I plug in 0 here, is 0 greater than or equal to -2? And the answer is yes. Okay? So check your 0. Is 0 greater than or -2? So that solution goes toward 0. Okay? Now is my solution, if I plug in 0, is it less than 1? Yes it is. So my solution goes toward 0 again. Okay, now the thing is, this is and, so both conditions must be met, because obviously if I have an arrow, it means I can go on forever this way, or I can go on forever this way. But because it's an and inequality, these arrows can only go on until they meet the other condition, because my answers have to be between 1 and -2. So I can't go past those, right? So it's going to stop. It's going to look kind of like an island. Okay. So I want you to pause the video and try number 2 and number 3 by yourself real quick, and then check your answer with me. Okay, so number 2, you should have marked your critical points. Got -4 and 1, my 0 in the middle. Okay, -4, the symbol is less than, or greater, the less than symbol, so it's open. On 1, the symbol is less than or equal to, so it's +1, so I fill in the 1 circle. And then check your solutions. So if I plug in 0 here, is 0 greater than -4? Yes, so it's going to go this way. Is 0 less than or equal to 1? Yes, so this one's going to go this way. And remember, both conditions have to be met, so the line can only go as far as the other point. So you should have got everything between -4 and 1. All right, now last one, critical point -3, -1, and my 0 is over here. Alright, so you should have gotten an open circle on -3 because it's not equal to, so it's not included. Open circle on -1 because it's also not equal to, so it's not included. I'm going to plug in 0 there. Is 0 greater than -3? Yes? Yes, it is. So I'm going to go toward 0. Is 0 less than -1? No, it's not. So I'm going to go away from the 0. Okay. So everything in between here is my solution. Because remember, with ands, both of them have to be satisfied. So the arrows are going to stop when it hits the other end. So I've got everything between -1 and -3. All right. I got 2 examples for solving compound inequalities, because we're going to have situations where it's not all nice and neat. I'm going to have to actually solve for x before I can get an answer. So I'm going to solve these simultaneously. These are 2 separate equations. If I mark out 6, I have -4 is less than or equal to x minus 3. And if I mark out the -4, I have x minus 3 is less than 6. So I've actually got 2 equations, but because of the way this is set up, I can solve them both at the same time. Okay, I'm trying to get x by itself. It's x minus 3, so I'm going to add 3 to the middle here. Okay, now because it's 2 separate equations, whatever I do to the middle, I have to do to both sides. Okay, so it's -4 plus 3 is -1. The x stays in the middle. My sign doesn't change. 6 plus 3 is 9. So we got -1 less than or equal to x is less than 9. Okay, so now I've got an inequality that I can graph. So I got my 2 critical points, -1 and 9. And my solutions are somewhere here in the middle. Now 0, I'm going to mark, because it's our reference, point of reference. So on -1, I've got less than or equal to symbol, so I'm going to close the circle. On 9, I've got the less than symbol, so I'm going to keep it open. And then plug in 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to -1? Yes, it is. So my arrow is going to go toward the 0. Is 0 less than 9? Yes, it is. So it's going to go away from the 9, or toward the 0 again. Okay, and remember, it's an and, so it's only going to be the solutions between these 2 dots. Okay. I want you to pause the video and try B on your own and see what you come up with, and then I will go over it with you. Okay, so I've got two equations here. I've got 9 is less than or equal to -4x minus 5, and -4x minus 5 is less than 3. So I'm going to try to get the x by itself and solve for the middle. Okay, so the first thing I got to do to get rid of get the x by itself is get rid of the 5. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Remember that adding 5 doesn't change my problem at all. So what you should have gotten was negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. I'm sorry, it changes my problem, but it doesn't change my sign at all. So that stays less than. We get negative 4x less than 8. Okay, now to get the x by itself, I've got to get rid of that negative 4. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. The problem here is the same rules that we talked about the last couple of days still apply. If I'm dividing by negative 4, that means that I have to flip my signs. So this sign's going to flip over, and this sign's going to flip over. I'm left with x, and then negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1. 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. Okay. So I've got my two critical points, 1 and negative 2. I'm going to put my 0 where it belongs, here in the middle. And what you should have got was that greater than or equal to is a closed circle on the 1, then on the negative 2, an open circle. Right? And then test your 0. Is 0 less than or equal to 1? Yes, so my arrow goes toward the 0. Is 0 greater than or negative 2? Yes, so my arrow goes toward the 1. Okay? And you fill in the middle. So it only can go as far as the other point because it's an and inequality. Both conditions have to be met. Okay, so my solution is a very limited set between negative 2 and 1. Just like my solution was a very limited set over here between negative 1 and 9. Alright, so I want you guys to complete the practice below for tomorrow's class, and have a great night.